This is Texans TV.
The Texans helped the region thaw out, and we look back at the franchise history.
Throws it. It's intercepted. What? Touchdown, Texans!
That's all next on Texans 360.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll. Oh, let's go!
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
Well, hello. It's great to have you back here on Texans 360. My name's Drew Dougherty. I'm your host, and I'm really excited because DP Sidhu's here with me. It's great to see you as always. How you been?
Great to be back, as always. We've thawed out a little bit. And
yes, we have.
We've all made it. We've all taken our hot showers, which, you know what? Underrated, hot showers.
Very underrated. It's nice also to be back here in the Ford Studios because last week I did it in the living room of my in-laws. So today on the show, we continue our celebration of Black History Month. We also look at some of the nice things that the McNairs and the organization have done to help those who were affected by the winter storm. But we start off with a little news of the week. And the Texans had some moves made in the middle of the week when they let go offensive lineman Sunil Kelemete, as well as Peter Kalambayi, a linebacker and special teamer. The team also signed cornerback Cornell Armstrong and running back Buddy Howell. Both of those two guys have made their bones on special teams the last couple years, but it's the movement that continues roster-wise, and we're going to see a flurry of that as the months roll on here, DP.
Yeah, especially now heading into free agency, and teams are trying to get under the salary cap, or they need to get under the salary cap before the league new year starts. So it's just the beginning, I think, of a lot more moves that are going to happen. With Nick Caserio, first year as GM for the Texans, so it'll be interesting to see how he approaches this offseason.
It really is. And you bring up Caserio, he's assembling this coaching staff with head coach David Culley, and they're putting all the pieces in place. And recently, a lot of those pieces, a lot of those coaches had to learn a little bit more about who the Houston Texans are, what the franchise has been through and done, and they saw this video to help them out.
Hello, Texans. I'm Mark Vandermeer, voice of the Houston Texans, here to tell you about the NFL's youngest franchise, which would not be in Houston without the efforts of our founder, the late Bob McNair. McNair was a prominent Houston businessman, family man, sportsman, and philanthropist who gave away over $500 million to charitable causes. With the departure of the Oilers, Houston needed an NFL team, and McNair would not be denied in his quest to get one. He paid a then-record $700 million to secure the franchise and beat out Los Angeles for the league's 32nd team. The Texans began play in 2002 under head coach Dom Capers. Opening night was a legendary primetime showdown with the Dallas Cowboys.
Caught by Miller. Takes it over the 5. Into the end zone. Touchdown, Houston!
Capers, who had success with the expansion Carolina Panthers previously, improved the win total each year until the team embarked on a frustrating injury-riddled 2-14 campaign in 2005. In came Houston native Gary Kubiak. It was year 5 of the franchise, and the Texans gave their fans a nice present with their very first victory over the Indianapolis Colts on Christmas Eve.
The snap is down. Brown's kick on the way. It has the distance, and it's good! Merry Christmas!
In 2007, Houston traded for quarterback Matt Schaub, and the offense took off, finishing in the top 4 from 2008 through 2010. While the Texans broke through with their first winning season in 2009, it would take 2 more years to crack the postseason field. The 2011 team was loaded with 16 players who either had been or would go to a Pro Bowl. Matt Schaub, though, was lost for the season in Week 10, eventually forcing rookie T.J. Yates into the lineup. On an unforgettable December day in Cincinnati, the Texans would clinch their first playoff berth.
Looking to his right, throws over the middle, caught! Touchdown, Houston! Kevin Walter with the TD reception!
A few weeks later, the Texans would win their playoff debut in a game featuring perhaps the greatest play in franchise history.
Dalton throws it. It's intercepted. What? Touchdown, Texans! Pick 6! The Texans win their playoff debut in spectacular fashion.
A year later, injuries and other issues led to a 2-14 season and a coaching change. Enter Bill O'Brien, who immediately turned the team back into a winner with 3 consecutive 9-7 seasons and 2 division titles. After using 8 quarterbacks in those 3 winning campaigns, the Texans moved up in the 2017 draft to take Deshaun Watson.
The Houston Texans select Deshaun Watson, quarterback, Clemson.
Once he entered into the lineup, Watson and the Bill O'Brien offense exploded as he threw 19 touchdown passes in 6.5 games. But a knee injury sidelined him after Week 7, and the team finished 4-12. The 2018 season got off to a slow start at 0-3, but the Texans reeled off a franchise record 9-game win streak to capture their 5th division title. One of the victories was on a Monday night, just 3 days after the passing of Bob McNair. The game was a tribute to Mr. McNair, and fittingly was against the Titans, the former Oilers, and featured one of the most spectacular plays in franchise history.
Miller over right guard, has a little room, breaks the tackle, 10, 15, 20, right side, 25, 30. He's to the sideline, the 40, the 50. He's going to go all the way, the 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, rock and roll. Touchdown, Houston! That one's for you, Bob!
The Texans made the playoffs but would fall to the rival Colts on Wild Card weekend. They would quickly get back to work to prepare for a tough 2019 schedule that featured wins at Kansas City, against New England, and at Tennessee. Once again at home for the playoff opener, the Texans faced Buffalo and roared back from a 16-0 second-half deficit to beat the Bills.
Snap is down, Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good! And the Texans go to the divisional round.
2020 got off to an 0-4 start and another coaching change. The Texans played 10 one-score games in the campaign, but were only able to win 2 of those as part of a 4-12 season. Houston led the league in passing and overcame key injuries to remain competitive, going down to the wire in 4 division games in which they came up short. It's a new era. The Texans have plenty of tradition and proud fans who are eager to see the turnaround. Led by Chairman and CEO Cal McNair, his wife and Vice President of the Houston Texans Foundation, Hannah McNair, and with the support of co-founder Janice McNair, the Texans are ready for the future.
We've got a break to hit, but before we go, we got to remind you, Tyrell Adams is going under the microscope. It's all part of the 53 when Texans 360 returns. Texans 360 is presented by Kroger, fresh for everyone. Texans 360 presented by Kroger is back. We're here in the Ford Studios, Drew and DP, and hey, 2020, a pretty forgettable year for the most part, but an unforgettable year if you were Tyrell Adams. Came out of kind of nowhere if you hadn't been following the special teams units of the Texans, and he started at linebacker for the final 3 quarters of the season, and he was excellent. It was such a fun story, and it is such a cool story, seeing and knowing everything that he'd been through to get there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he started 12 games. He surpassed 100 tackles for the season. I mean, a lot of players don't even do that with a full 16 games under their belt. But Tyrell Adams, he'd been around as a practice squad player, so we'd seen him in the locker room. We knew he liked to joke around with other players. I had a chance to talk to him earlier in the season, and there was a time when he thought he's just going to have to, just change gears and find another career. He actually interviewed with a job at like an office, a normal office, and he said he was sort of coming to terms with, how am I going to just not ever play football again? Gets the call to try out for the Super Combine, and the rest is history. So, really cool story. Everybody in that locker room was so happy for Tyrell Adams when he finally got to start and playing and making some real impact in that defense.
It's good stuff there, and it's great stuff here. This is Tyrell Adams in the 53.
Tyrell Adams making another play.
Buried at the 34-yard line. Big hit by Adams there.
Hey, first drive, start off fast now. Heavy. Tight right.
After finishing the 2020 season with 122 tackles, it's hard to believe inside linebacker Tyrell Adams ever thought of doing anything else.
For me, honestly, football was plan B. I graduated college that 2014. I wound up getting a job interview to sell insurance, and I'm literally in an interview, and they offered me the job, but something just in my soul just felt like it wasn't right yet. And I can remember vividly, they offered me the job, and I was like, I'm gonna still try this football thing out for a little bit just to see what happens.
Coming from West Georgia, a Division II school, Adams didn't have much hype around his name. In 2015, he went undrafted, and Adams was uncertain about his NFL future.
Of course, kind of coming out, I didn't really have like that much hype around me. I was coming from a D2 school, I was an undersized linebacker. But I knew I kind of had a little juice to me. My coach, who played in the league, he kind of will always tell me, like, Tyrell, you have a chance. Just keep working and we'll see what the chips might fall this year. Like, trust me. And I would always tell him, like, no, man, I ain't looking for no small D2 linebacker.
Despite the longest of odds, Adams got attention from some professional scouts, and he landed an invite to a regional combine.
It's like a combine for smaller school guys. And if you do really well, they wind up inviting you to a bigger event where all 32 teams have a scout there. And I wound up going to that, getting invited to that, and doing really well. And that's when I kind of got a little bit of attention. And then some teams reached out to me, and I wound up getting a rookie tryout. So you got drafted, undrafted, and you got priority free agents. And I was undrafted tryout, so I got invited to a tryout up in Seattle. I can remember just vividly telling myself, I'm gonna make this team.
For Adams, the tryout became the springboard that launched his NFL career. Although he went undrafted, he never allowed that to stop him.
Of course it's harder, you got a tougher path, but I think that's kind of our advantage. We started to go through like a tougher road that kind of builds up callus, so we become a little bit tougher, a little bit grittier than most guys would be. That's kind of had an easier route, and I've appreciated my route. I wouldn't change it for nothing. I can remember that first day, I was relentless. I just came out there full speed and everything, was doing great in every drill. I can remember the coach said something about my name, like, who's this Tyrell Adams kid from West Georgia? And I wound up moving up second string the next day, and then the final day of minicamp, I was the first string as far as for the minicamp.
Hey, watch the screen now, watch the screen now. Stay right, stay right, stay right.
Adams' toughness between the white lines and between his ears is one of the many things that helped him become the linebacker he is today. Adams started 12 games for the Texans this season, and he was counted on to help lead the defense.
A lot of guys are counting them, they're calling the plays, communicating with guys, setting up the front, giving the DBs the call so they can know what coverage we're in, then being vocal and clear about a lot of things and communicating like what I'm saying to coach. So there's a lot that goes with it, but I kind of love the role, just being able to be somebody that everybody relies on. So I have to constantly remind myself, like, this is more than just yourself right now, more than you count on you. Those other guys, those other 10 guys are counting on you right now. So.
The McNair family and the organization helped the region thaw out. That's next on Texans 360. We're back on Texans 360. Drew Dougherty, DP City, and we joked earlier in the show about how chilly it was, but hey, we made it through just fine. We didn't have any problems as a whole, right?
No, we are totally fine. And you know what? It's Houston, so I think it's just going to get warmer and warmer, and I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, it is going to get warmer, but there were so many who were affected by this winter storm, and the McNair family, along with the Houston Texans, tried to help things out.
That Arctic blast that is moving into our area.
The winter storm ravaging the south. Texas hit hardest.
Freezing rain.
Ice is already accumulating on the ground, rolling blackouts as soon as tonight.
Still without power tonight. Families all over our area are dealing with frozen pipes that are bursting.
A relief fund launched by Houston and Harris County. More than $2 million has been raised so far for this fund.
We love the community and love being here and do what we can whenever the community needs help. We're here.
A fund advisory board has been established to lead fundraising efforts and oversee the grant-making process. The fund will focus on meeting unmet needs of families who need additional help to recover, supporting nonprofits.
The mayor called. He said, "Cal, I need you to help me." I said, How can we help, Mr. Mayor? And he wanted to put together a group of leaders in the community and wanted us to join him. And just said, absolutely, tell us how we can help.
This started with Bob and Janice. They've really made that a part of the DNA of the Texans. You know, just watching them through the years and their leadership and how they're in the community, that's just kind of what we've grown to learn and what we see as important, and you know, that's carried on.
Ooh, I can smell it. Someone knows what they're doing. These are all brisket. And we're excited to be here and help Houstonians continue their recovery from that storm we had the other week. So serve a few good meals.
Support such as this is just awesome, something that you can't even equate to dollars and cents, because they have just done an awesome service for this district.
It's going to take us all working together.
We are Texas strong.
Yeah, that's it. I like that. Can I use that?
Hey, go ahead. Hey.
It's amazing that the AFC South are friends except on Sundays when we play them twice a year, that they come together and support us in our time of need. Hi Amy, this is Cal from the Texans calling to say thank you. Hello Shad, how are you? Jim Mercy, this is Cal McNair from Houston calling. Just wanted to say thank you for your donation. I appreciate y'all, and this will make a difference here in Houston, so I really appreciate it. Roger, how are you? We just wanted to call and say thank you, and the NFL.
The McNair family always stands up and does the right thing, and you continue to do that, so my hat's off to you guys for leading the way.
Oh, you're too kind. And the whole idea is we work together as one team. We're one team, we're all Texans, and together we're gonna get through this.
After the break, we continue our celebration of Black History Month. Texans 360 rolls on. We're back on Texans 360. Drew Dougherty, DP Sidhu, Black History Month in the month of February. This week, you've been busy as far as helping educate, a lot of the folks in the organization here, huh?
Yeah, I was part of it. I wasn't the expert on the panel, but I was moderating a couple of informational sessions that we held this week at the stadium. Really great stuff.
Yeah, we really learned a lot, as you'll see here.
My name is Priscilla Graham. I became the archivist for the Freemantown Preservation Coalition. And since that time, I've been researching African American settlements established between 1865 and 1917.
Said Freemantown, and I want to get in depth with that freedmen, because if you spell it out, it's freedman, right?
Freedmen.
Freedmen, excuse me, freedmen. So what does that mean in particular? When we say Freemantown, does that mean freedmen that were once slaves are now free and they built this community?
Exactly. So the former slaves were called freedmen. That was their name during that time. As you know, throughout history, African Americans have been described by different terminology. Freedmen, blacks, Negroes, colored, whatever that terminology may be. And now, in this particular time, we're identifying ourselves as African Americans. So that's what the term freedmen mean, that the former slaves and their descendants that came out of slavery.
Now, where are we right now?
Right now, we're at the historic R.B.H. Yates Museum that's located in historic Freemantown at 1314 Andrews Street, which is the heart of Freemantown. If you ever heard of the Green Book, this is a structure out of the Green Book.
Yes.
Because people during that time of color could not stay in the same facilities as whites, so they stayed in community houses and different places, and this was one of the houses that people could actually stay when they traveled to Houston.
In Freemantown, what's some more landmarks that are important that we should be thinking about?
Okay, so Ned Pullum House, which is right in the background of us. Ned Pullum was the pastor after Reverend Jack Yates at Bethel.
So he took over after he passed away?
Yeah, not before, a little bit before, probably like around the same time frame, a little bit. Okay, so with that, he was actually a brick maker. He produced over 20,000 bricks a day.
A day?
A day during this time. So we cannot find where his bricks are. The brick streets out there are unmarked bricks. There's no markings on them. Those bricks are 8.5 pounds each. So we're thinking that maybe some of those bricks might be his bricks, but we don't know. We've never been able to find anything with his markings on them.
Really?
20,000 bricks a day. The other place that's very significant is the Isabel Sims house. And I told you a little bit about that when I was talking about Jack Yates, Reverend Jack Yates, that he had purchased the land for her because she couldn't purchase the land.
Right.
But on that site is the J. Vance Lewis and Pauline Gray home. J. Vance Lewis was a lawyer here in the Houston area. The big thing about J. Vance Lewis is that he held court called J. Vance Court in his home because he had gotten so sick and tired of people of color going down to the Harris County courthouse and being convicted. So they start holding court here in Freemanstown. So you have to realize that during that time frame, people were 50 years out of slavery. So you need to look at the 1915 Red Book to actually find out what people did. So everything that happened in Houston as far as progression came out of this community. Because remember, this is the largest urban community. Your doctors, your lawyers, your teachers, everybody lived here. The original Freemanstown is over across Allen Parkway off the bayou. Because when they first came, they settled on both sides of the bayou. It's a curve within the bayou. They settled on both sides and whatever kind of structures that they had. And they migrated over because, as you know, you've seen Allen Parkway flood, right? When it floods, it still floods. It covers everything. So that's what they were living in. And so they migrated this way. And now you have new people coming in. They don't care. The kids don't care. They sell the property for pennies. Now, in order to get that property, you can't buy it for a penny. It's thousands, which equals millions in order to get the property. But it's right down off downtown. It has a beautiful backdrop, so everybody wants it. But that's part of it. My whole thing is affordable housing. Like I said, I don't believe in gentrification. I believe affordable housing is the destruction of historic communities. And it's not just communities of color. It's all communities. Because it doesn't matter if you're white, black, or what color you are. If your descendants have no value for your history, they sell it and get rid of it. It's everywhere. So not just going to say here in Freemanstown. It's just that Freemanstown was one of the last intact settlements, largest settlements in the country that they've just destroyed down to almost nothing now.
Really educational stuff, really interesting stuff, and you can find out more at HoustonTexans.com, the Houston Texans mobile app. There's just a raft of information and wallpapers and so on that you can check out, right?
Yeah, there's some mini modules that I tried to summarize each of our sessions very briefly for you. Obviously, there's a lot more information out there, but the Wallpaper Wednesday is really cool. You can download those to your phone. Black artists local in Houston, they designed those. So we're melding Black history with the Texans and the history of Houston. It's great stuff. You can download those all at HoustonTexans.com.
All right, thanks so much, DP, for joining us. Thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back next week. Same time, same channel. We really do appreciate you joining us. Till then, go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.